Hello students, now we are going to discuss the shift factors of LM curve. We already know what an LM curve is. LM curve shows different combinations of income and interest rate which makes demand for money equal to the supply of money. There are mainly four factors which leads to a shift in the LM curve either upwards or downwards. The first factor is the stock of money that is available in the economy. Second factor is the level of prices in the economy. Third factor is the payment habits, and the fourth factor is the expectations of a change in the return from holding money or bond. So here we will be discussing the first factor, which is the stock of money. Okay. So how does the stock of money affects the LM curve, and how does a change in the stock of money leads to a shift in LM curve? Okay, that is what we are going to do now. Okay, first let us derive the LM curve. This is a two-quadrant analysis. In the first quadrant we have income on the x-axis and money demand and quantity of money on the x-axis and interest rate on the y-axis, and this is the money supply MOS, which is exogenously determined. It is exogenously determined, and you can see that it is vertical. Okay, it has a vertical slope. It has a vertical slope. Okay, it is exogenously determined by the central line. So this is the money supply, which is named as MOS. Okay, now we have different demand for money. Different demand for money and different income levels. Okay, this is a certain demand for money at the income level of Y naught. So a certain demand for money at the income level of Y naught. We know that the two factors that determine demand for money are rate of interest and level of income. And level of income is a shift factor. So when the level of income changes, the demand for money shifts. When the level of income increases, demand for money increases, and so it shifts upwards. And when the level of income falls, the demand for money falls, and the demand for money shifts downwards. Okay. So here we have assumed a particular level of income Y naught, and assuming this level of income, we can have a particular demand for money curve. And now we are assuming a different level of income, a higher level of income Y1, which obviously causes a shift in the demand for money, because we know people increase their transaction and all types of demand, transaction, precautionary and speculative demand. And so we have a higher level of income Y1, and corresponding to a higher level of income, we have a new demand for money curve titled D1 Y1. Okay, so at Y0 level of income, for equality between demand for and supply of money, this is the point where demand for money is equal to supply of money. Demand for money is equal to supply of money. In order for demand for money to be equal to supply of money, we need a rate of interest I naught. Okay. Now the income level has increased and demand for money has increased. Okay. Demand for money has increased, and for this higher demand for money to be equal to supply of money, we need an increase in the rate of interest. An increase in the rate of interest will reduce the speculative demand for money. So the increased part of demand for money will be neutralized, and this will again be equal to supply of money. And for this we need an increase in interest rate from I0 to I1. Why there is an increase in interest rate? Because when there is an increase in income from Y0 to Y1, the demand for money exceeds the supply of money. There is a disequilibrium in the money market, and in economy all variables always tends to move towards the equilibrium. And here, when there is a disequilibrium between demand for money and supply of money, they should somehow come back to equilibrium. We know that supply of money is exogenously determined, so it cannot change. So demand for money itself should change. Here, when income increases, transaction and precautionary demand have increased considerably, and therefore somehow the demand for money has to come back to the previous level. And how this happens? This happens through a reduction in the speculative demand for money. We know that if speculative demand for money has to fall, then interest rate has to rise. So in order for money market to be back in equilibrium, interest rate rises from I0 to I1 and demand for money at a higher level of income Y1 will be equal to the supply of money. So we get different points of interest rate and income at which demand for money is equal to supply of money, and it is the definition of LM curve, and that is how we derive the LM curve. So we get one combination of interest rate and income I0 Y0 which brings in money market equilibrium, and another combination of interest and income I1 Y1 which brings in money market equilibrium. So here we are drawing the LM curve, interest rate and income, one particular combination of interest rate. This is I0 and this is I1. We have two income levels Y0 and Y1. Y0 corresponding to Y0 level of income and this Y1 corresponding to this Y1 level of income. So we get one combination I0 Y0. I0 Y0 here I0 Y0. This is one point, and another point I1 Y1. This is I1 and this is Y1. This is equal another point, and we draw the LM curve which is upward sloping, and we know why it is upward sloping also. Now let's see what happens when money stock changes. Here we have assumed a constant money stock, but money stock can change exogenously. It is not endogenous to the system, but the central bank can change the money stock when it considers fit. It can adopt an easy monetary policy which involves a reduction in interest rate or a buying of bonds, buying back of bonds. Okay. Now we will be familiar with many methods of liberal monetary policy, quantitative easing by the US Federal Reserve being the most famous one in recent times. And so what happens? The money supply changes from MOS to MOS1, and when the central bank increases the money supply, the new supply of money becomes M1 it has shifted parallelly. It has shifted parallelly to the right. So money stock has increased, and this increased money stock necessitates new equilibrium. Here demand for money will not be in equilibrium to supply of money because money stock has been exogenously increased by the central bank. So demand for money will fall short of supply of money. There has been a unilateral increase of supply of money. So demand for money also has to increase. How this demand for money will increase? We know that demand for money is a function of rate of interest, and it is a negative function of rate of interest. That is, demand for money increases when rate of interest falls, and demand for money rises when demand for money falls when rate of interest rises. So what happens? Then here demand for money has to increase, and if demand for money has to increase, the rate of interest has to fall. So the new equilibrium will be this point. Income has not changed. Why not? Okay, what has changed? Only the stock of money has changed, and money stock and demand for money supply. Demand for money and supply of money will be equal to each other at this point. And here interest rate is I0 dash, and the second demand for money will be equal to the new shifted demand for supply of money at interest rate of I1 dash. So we get a new combination of interest rate and income at which a higher money stock is equal to demand for money. Here it is I0 dash, Y0. One particular combination. This is the point of equilibrium between demand for money and supply of money. Here Y0 is the income, and I0 dash is rate of interest which is lower than I0. Here interest rate has fallen. Why this interest rate has fallen? Interest rate has fallen because in order for higher money stock to be equilibrium to the lower demand for money has to increase, and for this interest rate has to fall. So interest rate falls from I0 to I0 dash, and new equilibrium will be a combination of I0 dash interest rate and Y0 income. So we will get I0 Y0 income, I0 dash interest rate here. one point here. Second point, I1 dash. I1 dash is the new interest rate which brings in increased money stock equal to the old demand for money. Old demand for money at Y1 level of income. So what is the level of income? The level of income is Y1 and the rate of interest is I1 dash. Level of income is Y1 and the rate of interest is I1 dash. And equilibrium happens here. So we have another combination of interest rate I1 dash and income Y1. Okay, come to equilibrium at this point, and we get the combination here I1 dash interest rate and Y1 income. This is the income level Y1, and we join these points together and we get a new LM curve, LM1. So what has happened? LM curve has shifted to the right from LM to LM1. How this happened? Because of a change in the stock of money. Because of a change in the stock of money. So this is what happens due to a change in the stock of money. When the stock of money increases, there is a disequilibrium between demand for money and supply of money, and demand for money has to increase to meet the increased supply of money, and demand for money will increase only if rate of interest falls. So rate of interest falls and demand for money increases, and demand for money and supply of money will be equal to each other at the same level of income Y0, but at a lower rate of interest I0 dash. And these 2 points are plotted here, and another couple of points, another combination of interest rate and income is obtained here. We join together these 2 points and arrive at the new LM curve, okay, where demand for money is equal to supply of money. So because of a shift in the stock of money, LM curve shifted upwards. A rightward shift in the money supply leads to a rightward shift in the demand for rightward shift in the LM curve. Okay. Now what could have happened if the supply of money had shifted left? If supply of money had shifted to the left, then the new LM curve would also have shifted to the left. Okay. If supply of money has shifted to the left, then there will be a lower supply of money and demand for money will have to fall in order for the new money stock to be equivalent to the demand for money. And if demand for money has to fall, then interest rate will have to rise. So at each point, interest rate will be higher and the new equilibrium in the money market will be given by a higher or leftward shifted LM curve. Okay. So this is how an LM curve shifts due to change in the money stock. Okay, thank you.